Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Are you feeling charitable? Then smash the subscribe button and the like button. And please do follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. We have some new surroundings, temporary surroundings, because the aircon in my bedroom stinks of mouldy vegetables. Literally, it's so hot here in Cyprus. I need the aircon while I'm doing this. So that's why I'm in my late mother's room. Yes, we've moved. There's lots of bedrooms in this house. Really echoey. But let's get on. Welcome to Sunday's edition of the DC Daily. And I forgot to show you something the other day. That is Cheetah from Wonder Woman 84, and that's from a new poster. I've zoomed out the words and zoomed in the picture. I think she looks terrific, but of course, I've seen what she looks like as Cheetah in the test screening, of course, which I keep on telling you. I love bragging about it, don't I? She looks stunning. You're going to love her in live action. I've been waiting for a live action version of Cheetah to be involved in live action for a very long time. We are getting everything now, and it's extremely, really exciting. Talking of Wonder Woman 84, look at young Diana, aka young, adorable Lily Aspel, who I'm always talking to on Twitter. She's so proud to be involved in Wonder Woman. And as I said yesterday, Gal and Patty love her to bits and are really protecting her and looking after her. And by the way, if you don't like a film, don't start picking on the child actors who are in it. They're kids after all. Come on, let's have some common decency. But look, she is brilliant. I've told you about the Amazon games in the backflash of Wonder Woman 84. You're really going to adore it. I can't wait till everyone sees it. And I can't wait to see the full movie too. I'm so pumped, but I've got a bad feeling it's going to be delayed yet again. When's the date? October the 2nd? Who knows? We can only hope. Personally, and you know my thoughts on it, VOD is the future. VOD, video on demand, can make as much money for Wonder Woman 84 and Tenet and any other movie on video on demand, but they want to keep hold of the good old days where we all went to cinemas. I love the cinematic experience, the movie theatres, but at the end of the day, we are in the middle of a pandemic. It's dumbing down a little bit in some countries, getting better. Here in Cyprus, we haven't had a case for over 2 months. We're living normally now. Some wear masks, some don't. But look, at the end of the year, so I can go to the cinema to see this, but they're not going to release it here. That's another thing they could actually do, you know. They could release it in countries that are free of COVID, because there are many countries, believe it or not. I know the media don't want you to know this, but there are countries like Cyprus free of COVID-19, and we should be able to see at least. Now, of course, they're worried about spoilers, pirating, and things like that. But you either want to make money or you don't. Listen, you either release it in movie theatres in countries across the world that are not suffering from COVID-19 anymore, or you just do it globally, VOD, $25, $35. And as I've said before, you can make this an interactive experience. You can pay a little extra to Zoom your friends in while you're watching it, and you can react together. There's lots of fun things you could actually do with this. Hollywood, you are losing money because of your own backwards behaviour. Who's heard of the scooper Thomas Polito? Now, I don't know how accurate this guy is, and of course it is problematic, but he had a picture of Henry Cavill's Superman, like some artwork or whatever, and saying 2023. Then later on he posted, coming soon, some more crazy DC movie news. So could it be that the sequel of Man of Steel we've all been waiting for, could that be coming out very soon? Or could it be something else? Could it be another actor playing Superman like I've predicted? Could it be a Justice Society of America Superman? Nobody knows. And this is what I'm talking about. If they keep on leaking this stuff, there's going to be nothing to announce at DC Fandom, but something tells me there's a lot to announce. So I don't know if this Superman rumour is true or not, but apparently Thomas Polito was hinting at Superman 2023. Now, I spoke about this a few weeks ago after the late Joel Schumacher's death. Now, Joel Schumacher directed Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, two films I actually really like and I find really entertaining. Now, there's no form of artwork created by human hands that isn't flawed, but at the end of the day, both films are a lot of fun, and I don't understand where the hate for them comes from. Anyway, Variety are reporting this. Could Joel Schumacher's darker, longer Batman Forever cut ever get released? Last week, writer Mark Bernardin, Castle Rock, Star Trek Picard, tweeted that he'd heard from a very good authority that a 170-minute cut of the 1995 superhero blockbuster Batman Forever from the late director Joel Schumacher exists, but that Warner Brothers was unsure if there's any hunger for what was described to me as a much darker, more serious version of the film. Take my money now, put it on HBO Max. Variety has confirmed with a source close to the movie that Schumacher did assemble a longer cut of Batman Forever that was indeed much darker in nature. This version opens with a sequence involving the villain Two-Face Tommy Lee Jones escaping from Arkham Asylum and features extended scenes with the Riddler Jim Carrey when he invades the Batcave and uses his signature cane as a weapon. The bulk of this version's runtime focuses on the emotional and psychological issues that led Bruce Wayne, Val Kilmer, to decide to become Batman, including a sequence of Wayne facing down a giant human-sized bat. Sounds good to me. The cut of Batman Forever, that made it to theatres is just over 2 hours long and centres on Carrey's to the rafters comic performance as the Riddler and the introduction of Chris O'Donnell as the headstrong Dick Grayson, aka Robin. Some scenes concerning Bruce Wayne's emotional issues did make it into the film, primarily involving psychologist Dr. Chase Meridian, Nicole Kidman. But alas, there's no Man-Bat. And of course, there is a Man-Bat in the comics. Man-Bat basically idolizes Batman, so he decides to become literally a bat, and it goes wrong. I'm not sure which comic it is. I think there are actually Man-Bat graphic novels, actually, if you look out for them. Aided by Carrey's then skyrocketing stardom, Batman Forever went on to be the top domestic grosser of the year with 184 million, or just under 400 million, adjusting for ticket price inflation, according to Box Office Mojo. But Schumacher's follow-up, 1997's Batman and Robin, with George Clooney replacing Kilmer, was a critical and commercial abomination, and the franchise went into deep freeze, God, no pun intended of course, until director Christopher Nolan resurrected it with a far more grounded and gritty approach in 2005's Batman Begins. To be honest with you, I don't think Batman and Robin is... Look, it's overstuffed, it's very campy, but it's a lot of fun. Schumacher's death in June, however, sparked a renewed appreciation for his unabashed embrace of theatrical extravaganza to his Batman movies. Even Batman and Robin has developed a cult following for its high camp excesses. Val Kilmer and Nicole Kidman in Batman Forever, Ralph Nelson, Warner Brothers co-bar. I'm reading under a picture instead of reading the article. So could Schumacher's original cut of Batman Forever ever see the light of day? Representatives for the studio say there are no discussions about distributing a director's cut of Batman Forever and are not aware if footage for an extended version has even survived 25 years later. Of course they have. Even so, at least some of the deleted scenes do appear in DVD and Blu-ray editions of the movie and have made their way to YouTube. The studio has also been down this road before. For years, Warner Bros. Officials waved off persistent talk of a Snyder Cut of the 2017 superhero movie Justice League, i.e. a version that kept to the original vision of director Zack Snyder, who left the project before it was completed. Even after tenacious grassroots campaign to release the Snyder Cut was joined last November by Snyder and several of the Justice League stars, including Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, Ben Affleck, Batman, Warner Bros. Executives insisted that no such cut existed, and there was next to no chance it ever would. Then in May, surprise, surprise, Warner Bros. Announced Snyder is in fact overseeing a new cut of Justice League that will premiere on Warner Media's subscription streaming service HBO Max in 2021. It turns out that a complete Snyder Cut of Justice League did not quite exist. While Snyder has said there won't be any reshoot for his version, he hasn't said that. He hasn't said that, and there will be. It will likely cost tens of millions for finished visual effects and other post-production work to complete the film. That could be money very well spent when it's done. Zack Snyder's Justice League will provide HBO Max with a premium offering next year, as studios are increasingly hard-pressed for top-tier fresh content amid the COVID-19 pandemic shutdown. So why not? Even more bonus Batman fan sites have been floating the idea of a Schumacher cut of Batman Forever since at least 2005. And on the most recent episode of the Fat Man Beyond podcast with director Kevin Smith, Bernardine noted that unlike with Justice League, finishing Schumacher's original cut of Batman Forever wouldn't require nearly the same level of expensive visual effects work. There are still some clear hurdles, even if all the old footage is still intact and available. The sound mix, colour grading and score likely needs an update. And of course, Schumacher isn't alive to oversee any of it. Plus, not to put too fine a point on this, but usually scenes are deleted for a reason. Maybe Schumacher's original cut just isn't that good. Well, if it isn't that good, let us pay for it and decide for ourselves. Then again, Schumacher made no secret that his North Star as a blockbuster filmmaker was maximising the entertainment for the largest number of people possible. Rare-field concerns about cinematic quality be damned. Bernardine's original tweet about an extended cut of Batman Forever included a poll asking whether people would want to see it. Over 75% respondents said yes, of course. Yeah, good little article there. Can I just say something? Why did it wait for this man to die for us to potentially eventually see a 3-hour cut, a darker extended cut of his aunt, of Batman Forever? I always loved this film. The music, the rock songs, the performances. It was so campy. It was so action-packed. I love Kerry and Tommy Lee Jones in it. I think they're great together. I mean, they didn't get on the set, but who gives a toss, right? We want to see this. And I think it's going to happen. It's all about money. That's what streaming's all about now. If I put this on my streaming service, are people going to subscribe long term and stay for more stuff like this if there's more stuff out there? Yes, and that's all that Warner Media care about. Getting more butts on seats, getting more people to subscribe. And they're rolling out their international platform very soon as well. So HBO Max is probably the most successful thus far new streaming service, even outstripping Disney Plus, which was boasted that this was going to destroy all oncomers, all competition, including Netflix. They do not have the content to compete with anyone. They could have done if they took what they've got in the 20th Century vaults and had a kind of another section of Disney Plus of that. They could have had 20th Century Fox classics. But no, they just want to cater for families, and they're going to lose the streaming war. Another picture of Wonder Woman 84. I loved this when I saw this in the movie. Look at that. That's Lily Aspel, a.k.a. young Diana, with her mum, the Queen. Is it Hippolyta? That's her name. Can never remember it. And I forgot the actor's name, and I love her too. She's great. But these two are really great together as well. So adorable. Brilliant. I can't wait for the Amazon Games. It's going to be awesome. Shame it couldn't be in the summer, because the Amazon Olympics, or the Olympics as such, are always on in the summer, aren't they? Or maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, closing off today's DC Daily, I want to look back on Smallville as on a whole, just to talk about the achievements of the show. Now, for me personally, it's the greatest comic book TV show ever made. And, you know, you can throw The Walking Dead at me and their ratings and this, but Smallville was special. You know, in the Lex and Clark dynamic, you're looking at a Cain and Abel situation. And Lex's father, Lionel, is manipulating this whole thing from the background. He knows Clark is the Traveller. He knows he wants ownership of the Traveller. He wants to use Clark for his own gain, for his own reasons, right? We know this. He wants to get Lex away from Smallville once he realizes that Clark's there. He doesn't want Lex finding out about who Clark is, because he knows what Lex is going to do ultimately, and it's what he does. at the end of season 7, Arctic. He tells Clark, I love you like a brother, but it has to end this way. Because in this universe, in the Smallville universe, Luthor doesn't hate Superman. He loves him as a brother, as he tells him. But it has to end this way. That won't stop Lex. That won't stop Lex battling Superman in the future, just because he loves him as a brother. Smallville was special in the sense of all these different character dynamics. Lana and Chloe, Lex and Lionel, Lionel and Martha, Lionel and Jonathan, Jonathan and Martha, Jonathan and Clark, those beautiful father and son chats. I posted on Twitter, if everyone had parents like Jonathan and Martha Kent, the world would be a better place. I'd be a better person, right? And so would you. And it's that relationship, it's that Kent family dynamic that we all loved, of course. But there was so much more to it than that. You've got Lana and Clark. Basically, they depicted the two relationships that are so important to Superman, right? Clark and Lana Lang, which was done beautifully. And then from season 4 onwards till the end, to the 10th and final season, they developed the dynamic, that iconic dynamic of Lois and Clark. And it was brilliant. Erica was a great Lois. And Tom did such a great job. It's that pureness in his performance. He was such a pure Clark. And even when he went dark, you could see the struggle. Because Tom started off as a very raw actor. He was originally a model. But he learned so well at his craft. It really was a great show. But I was watching the series finale. I just decided to watch the series finale. It just popped up on my Prime Video and I thought, why not? And I hated the series finale originally. I really, really did. I felt cheated. I felt robbed. Watching it last night, I quite enjoyed it. But ultimately, it is a finale for the final 3 seasons, and it's not a finale for the whole series. I mean, it does a couple of things, like Lex becoming president and stuff. And that scene in the burnt-out mansion between Lex and Clark is so powerful. Rosenbaum may have the crappiest bald cap in the history of film, even worse than Gene Hackman's, which was pretty cool, by the way. But his performance, I mean, it was such a last-minute addition. But Rosenbaum makes that scene so compelling. And it's actually quite an emotional watch. I think my distaste for the finale really was and is because Alfred Gough and Miles Millar devised Smallville. They had a great idea. The story of the story, showing us how a young teenage Clark Kent becomes Clark Kent. And how a young Lex Luthor becomes the evil megalomaniac we know him to be. We went on a journey with Lex, Clark, and Lois and Lana and Chloe and Oliver Queen even, who's the Green Arrow. We even had a mini little Justice League. We had Granny Goodness. We had Superboy, Connor Kent in the final season as well. And I thought it was a pretty cool version. We didn't see it develop, but we should have done. But it doesn't matter. It was still awesome. This show was incredibly special. And it's something that's going to live with me for such a long time. Zack Snyder once said when he was promoting Man of Steel, I remember Smallville. He said Smallville flew the flag for Superman for a decade. And he admitted he and his children used to sit there watching it. If you're a comic book fan, if you're a Superman fan, this was brilliant. People complained that he didn't wear the costume. Now, I agree it was disappointing not to see a close-up of Tom totally in the costume and the way it was done because Tom felt that Superman should never be in Smallville. And I understand that. I understand that because it's a coming-of-age series and it's a story before the story. I think we should have seen him in the finale at least in the costume. But I still think they did their best with the budget that they had and they told a good, defined story. No, the tragedy for me is Alfred Gough and Miles Millar, who created and developed the show. They never got to finish their story. Their departures broke my heart. Because they're the only ones who truly would have finished it in the correct fashion. But it wasn't to be. But for me, when you look back at the decade-old Smallville, it's the most consistent comic book TV show of all time. It is consistent. Season 1 is very innocent, very Dawson's Creek. And as we go on, it gets darker and darker. And then we see the Lois Lane and Clark Kent era. But it's still got a little bit of darkness. And this show earned the right to become a superhero show and do the Justice League stuff as well. It's a magical show that really set a lot of things up for what we're seeing today. It's never going to be forgotten by me, and as some of you know, I do have a small little idea how we could reboot the show. Beware of the Doomsday Apocalypse. Yeah, flash forwards, Smallville being trapped with these mysterious walls blocking the exits and entrances, the Brainiac skull ship crashing, full of Kryptonians. They hide in the mountaintops, and while young Clark Kent actually comes out of Brainiac's ship. And two of the Kryptonians on the mountaintops are Jor-El and Lara. So there's a lot of fun stuff I would have done. Now, I don't think my concept's ever going to happen, but I think Smallville definitely deserves a reboot, and I think Alan Miles should have something to do with that. Who knows? Anything's possible these days, especially with this multiverse strategy as well. Are you a Smallville fan? Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. By the way, this YouTube channel isn't doing very well, and I'm really at a loss to know. No one's got the divine right to be successful, but it does make you think when you see those subs and views. Yesterday I had about 30 subs for yesterday's video. I thought the video was better than that, but never mind. And it does make you think, am I losing this? Should I not bother? Let's see how the future holds. But right now, I really had to force myself to do this video. Anyway, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back hopefully tomorrow for more DC Daily. See you again soon.